We've got Angelina here.
Hi everybody.
So today we're going to tell a story, Mr. Wizard and Mrs. Witch of the Woods in Wollywood. In a woodland in a far place called Wollywood, a bit like Hollywood, but for professional wizards and witches, is a cottage buried deep in overgrown trees and wild plants and flowers. The cottage is in a run-down condition with cracks on the outside walls and on the glass panes of the windows. There are cobwebs everywhere with overgrown weeds and large mushrooms. There are creepy crawlies and lots of unsavoury rodents lurking around outside.
Does anyone live there, Dad?
Well, when you see the cottage from outside, it is as if no one lives there. But then, when you hear shouting going on inside, with the sound of crashes and thuds of pots and pans, it is clear that this cottage is occupied. There is Mr. Wizard and Mrs. Witch, who have both been married together for over 60 years. But they do not get on for a single minute. They are always arguing and trying to outdo each other. Mr. Wizard thinks he is better than Mrs. Witch at magic, and Mrs. Witch thinks she can cast better spells than Mr. Wizard. They have not learnt how to get on in all these years of marriage.
Do they have any children?
No, but they do have pets. Mr. Wizard has a dog and Mrs. Witch has a cat. The same scenario here. The dog doesn't get on with the cat and is always chasing it, and the cat is always hissing at the dog. They clearly have been trained not to like each other. Anyway, one day Mr. Wizard had had enough and decided to teach Mrs. Witch a lesson. He was reading a spell book to find a spell to cast on Mrs. Witch to make her into a dog. At the same time, Mrs. Witch was busy at her cauldron, making a potion, having the very same idea, but to make Mr. Wizard a cat.
Then what happened, Dad?
One evening, whilst Mr. Wizard and Mrs. Witch were eating, Mr. Wizard cast the spell on Mrs. Witch, and Mrs. Witch had put the potion in Mr. Wizard's soup. The spell worked instantly. Mr. Wizard became a cat, and Mrs. Witch became a dog. Anyway, from that point on, the cottage in Wollywood has never been the same. Everyone gets on with each other, albeit that Mr. Wizard and Mrs. Witch did not plan this to happen.